Blessings. Blessings, family. Blessings. So real quick, I want to talk about the Mercury retrograde. This one's going to be pretty intense because it's Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo. So Mercury's in its home sign. So I just wrote I just did a blog post over on Patreon about Mercury retrograding into Virgo and Leo. So I'm just going to give you like a little snippet of it. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? All right, cool. So let me bring this up really quick. So here's a little snippet of the article or the blog that I just did over on Patreon. So this is for the Virgo section because I broke it up into Virgo and Leo. All right. So for Virgo, this is a time to learn from the shadow side of Virgo, okay, which is Pisces. So did you leave something undone that has been on your mind? Because Pisces is the sign of ending cycles, right? Pisces is the sign of closure, getting things done. And what better time to go back and get things finished than a Mercury retrograde? Mercury retrograde, you don't want to start anything new, right? And so since it's starting off in Virgo, Virgo is all about how you extend yourself to other people, because Virgo is the last sign in the second quadrant, right? And then Libra starts the third quadrant. So it's about how are you, it's like leaving that sense of the identity of how I cope and service myself and how I service other people, right? And on the shadow side is Pisces. So Pisces is serving people at large. That's why Pisces rules over like hospitals, right? So a few things you want to look out for. If you have animals, make sure you are paying attention to your animal health, because during this time, your animal health could be something that, let's hope not, could go south. Let's hope not. Another thing that you want to watch for is making sure that you are not going into work late. Make sure you are on your job, because your bosses might be a little bit more strict during this time. And during this time, it's easier to get fired because Virgo rules over employment, your jobs, and managerial skills. So if Mercury, the rules over Gemini and Virgo, is going retrograde and the rules over communication, then watch how you are speaking to those over you, your bosses, your managers, all right? And we just had a new moon in Leo, right? New moon in Leo. We having a new moon in Leo, and Mercury is retrograding back into Leo. So this is all about the identity, the ego, the wounded child, right? This is a time to really connect with your identity. And when Mercury retrogrades back into Leo, the shadow side of Leo is Aquarius. So how are you connecting to others at large, right? Aquarius is all about benefactors, right? Your tribe. How are you connecting with your friend group, right? So during this time, communication with those that you call your friends is important when Mercury retrogrades back into Leo, because Leo is all about the self, right? And Aquarius is all about other people. So, okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on here real quick and connect with y'all, because we have Mercury retrograding, Pluto retrograding, the North Node retrograding, Chiron retrograding, Saturn retrograding. So if you feeling like a certain type of way, That's why, because we have all of these luminaries that's retrograding. And even if you're not somebody that's into astrology, you are controlled by these luminaries, y'all. Like, these luminaries control the electrolytes in your body. Point blank, period. The electrolytes you release when you want to create new life. Everything is controlled by the stars. So it's better to know, like, what's happening, the forecast of what's happening. So during the Mercury retrograde, you just won't let things happen to you. Like, you know why. All right, so real quick, just so I won't leave you dry. So if you, let's say, like, you're an Aries rising, how is this going to affect you? Because I want to give you practical ways of how this can affect you and ways that you can go about alleviating any type of stress, right? So I don't want to, like, leave you hanging dry. So if you're an Aries rising, that means that Virgo, this is retrograding in your 6th house, and it's going to retrograde back into your 5th house, right? So if it's retrograding into your 6th house, again, that's all about your routine, how you service other people, your animals, so forth and so on. When it goes into the 5th house, that's all about your ego. That's all about your connection with your children, your connection with your father, your creativity. So if you're an Aries rising, especially when it goes back into your 5th house, just know that, oh man, I don't got any ideas. Why don't I feel creative? It's natural. How can you channel that energy and learn from the shadow side of Leo, which is Aquarius, and call somebody up? Go have some tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best way to redirect that energy if you're an Aries rising. If you're a Taurus rising, that means it's going to be happening in your 5th house. Okay? So, again, it's starting off with the ego. It's starting off with the identity crisis. Y'all, these are things that are like, that are literally going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's best to, if you don't know anything about your natal chart, go to astro.com, input your information, pull up your natal chart, and learn from your natal chart. Chanel, if you're a Virgo rising, this is a good example. If you're a Virgo rising, that means that right now Mercury is in your 1st house. So more now than any other time, you have been talking to yourself. You have been, like, really, like, shit. Am I crazy? Why am I talking to myself? Because you have Mercury in your 1st house, right? Your voice is probably even, like, switching up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who have Mercury in their 1st house, they have unique voices. Like, Scarlett Johansson, right? She's known for her voice. So yeah, you're probably, like, really communicating with yourself right now. Let me change the music. Hold on. Playing my old stuff from, like, 2010. What the? Hold up now. I said play the motivational music. One second, y'all. There we go. Okay. All right, so Gemini risings. If I go through all the rising signs, we're going to be here for a while. So here's what I say. Go to astro.com, input your information, look to see which house Virgo is in. So if it's your 1st house, that's all about your identity. Your 2nd house is all about your values, your financial literacy. Your 3rd house, your communication, the way you travel, right? Your siblings, fourth house, your family, right? Your lower self, all these things. So just figure out which area of life it is, which where it's retrograding, in that area of your life will be affected by this Mercury retrograde, right? So things are going to slow down with you being precise in that area for a little while. So like if it's in your if it's in your seventh house, baby, I'm sorry, I don't really feel like doing all that tonight. um, if it's in your 10th house, you really won't feel like pursuing, like you won't feel motivated to pursue a goal that's anything related to your material wealth, right? All right, so any questions? Because this Mercury retrograde following this is the first Mercury retrograde after the eclipse. So this is the first Mercury retrograde after the eclipse. So we're still within like that 6-month period within the solar eclipse. So yeah, man. We got, like I said, Pluto retrograding, Saturn retrograding, Chiron retrograding, the true node, North Node retrograding. So get a journal, write it down, really be like, do things with intention right now. That's the best thing that you can do, especially when it hits Leo, right? Good thing we don't have anything in Capricorn right now, because you don't want any opposing energy. But I think we might have a square going on. I have to double check to see if we have a square in the transits, but yeah. Any questions? I'm trying to squint to see. I'm stoned right now, so I can't really see shit. So just I want to remind you that astrology classes for beginners are starting within the month over on Discord, or not Discord, Patreon. So make sure, if you are somebody who's wanting to either, one, be an astrologer, or two, learn about your own natal chart, sign up for astrology classes. I think it would greatly help you. I'm not teaching, the 5D readers are teaching. So you're going to have 4 teachers. You're going to have 4 teachers. That's huge. I'm going to be attending some of the classes, definitely, because you should always be a student. Jupiter and Mars and Gemini are going to make a square to Saturn and Pisces. Let me pin this. So I know that Mercury likes to steal the show, because Mercury was the only one that could talk to Hades. Mercury was the one that went to go negotiate, the return of Persephone. But, we still have Pluto retrograding, right? Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, right? We have Saturn retrograding. So right now is the best time to make sure that you are not getting shit-faced drunk. I guess that's the best way to say it, if people are still saying that. Like, really have restrictions, limitations when it comes to your need to escape this reality right now. Saturn is somebody you do not want to mess with when it's retrograding in Pisces. No. You would end up in a world you do not want. Because Pisces represents prison. If Saturn rules over limitations, restrictions, and is retrograding in Pisces, which represents prisons. Boy, if you fuck around and find out. So, yeah, don't be out drinking in public. Do not. If you're going to drink or do any type of whatever, be at home. Do it in the space of your home. And if you're traveling in a foreign space, don't do nothing. Don't drink. Don't do nothing. Don't do anything. If you're traveling in a foreign space, overseas especially. So it's good to be aware of all the retrogrades, you know. Because if you think about it, like these luminaries, they aren't like, you know. I know we have like malefic luminaries, but like they aren't really evil or anything. They're just teachers, right? Think of your professor that was probably like one of your hardest professors, and how much they taught you and how much you remember. That's Saturn, right? And if you ever took one of my if you ever took one of my astrology classes, I have Saturn conjunct my ascendant, so it's literally my personality. So that's kind of the way I teach. But my students come back and tell me that they still remember the material, because that's the way that's Saturn, you know. So during this time, if I had to pay attention to any retrogrades first, I would pay attention to the Saturn retrograde first. Any questions? This is only supposed to be 5 minutes, but y'all know. I have like 10% battery as well. And I want to get back to my Sunday. I really just wanted to hop on here and connect with y'all, you know? Shadow side of Leo. All right, y'all. Well, I said it once. I'll say it again. If you want to dive deeper as well, make sure you come over to Patreon. Also, subscribe on YouTube, because I have more content on YouTube than like most platforms. And I'm going to start going live on YouTube. So, like, if I go live on YouTube, you won't get notified over here on Instagram. So, I don't want to announce anything, but just you want to be subscribed to YouTube. And if you mess with 5D Mystery School, that's all. So, before I get out of here, any questions about your natal chart? Anything? I have 3 more minutes to answer any questions about astrology, this Mercury retrograde, the new moon in Leo. All right, y'all. Well, enjoy this Sunday. Enjoy this time with yourself. And as always, get to know thyself. Oh, somebody has a question. Mercury retrograde in our solar return chart. For that you're going to have to pay. So, I love y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.